Hello everybody, I'm Susanne from Susie's Journal Adventure and welcome to a new adventure in my Junk Journal January journal. In today's video, I'm going to work along the next 4 prompts of this series, the prompts 6, 7, 8 and 9. And if you've missed the video where I created my pages for the first 5 prompts, I will link down below in the description box a playlist with all the videos of this series. So let's dive right in. And I always want to keep in mind my motto for this series, respectively for this journal. The motto is keep it simple. So I will try to keep my journal pages as simple as it is possible for me. If you know me, you know that I normally work pretty maximalistic with a lot of things going on the pages. And for this journal, I want to try to be more minimalistic. This does not want to open. To be more minimalistic and to keep it really simple and to finish my journal spreads in a few minutes. So the first prompt for today's video is embossed. And when I thought about embossing, I had to think, of course, of embossing with, for example, embossing powder or embossing with embossing folders. And as I really don't use my embossing folders very often, and I must admit I don't have a lot of embossing folders, I want to use one of my folders for today's prompt. I think this is a great opportunity. I want to emboss some vellum. I love translucent and transparent materials. I love using and recycling plastic materials in my journals, and I think today it's going to be vellum. So I have my embossing machine here, and I think I'm going with this embossing folder. I don't have many embossing folders, but I am sure that I don't want to use a pattern that is this big because the paper is not very big, and I think I'm going with the smaller pattern here. So I'm putting it inside, and to prevent the paper from tearing, I spritz a little bit of water . I'm carefully drying this now with my heat tool. So I dried it, and as you can see, it tore a little bit. I guess I didn't spritz enough water. I made a second one, and this did not tear. But honestly, I don't mind. I will tear it apart anyway. So let's see on which page I want to create for this prompt. I think as the vellum is really translucent, I like it when we see the paper in the background shining through. Yes, let's not overthink it. I'm going with this page made from a packaging. I have these paper scraps and fabric scraps here, ready to go. So maybe I will use some of this. I think I'm making a quick collage, maybe with these materials. And I want to add a focal point, I have these flowers here, these die cuts, and I'm really loving this purple one here. Oh, this is already so adorable, this color combination. Let's not overthink. So I will tear this down a little bit. Like this. And you know what? Before I glue this down, I want to emboss a bit of these, a little bit of the flower. And I think I'm using this transparent embossing powder and my embossing pen. And I will just go over the middle part here. So I will remove all the powder where I don't want to emboss. So don't do it like I did it. Please use a tweezers or something else so that you don't burn your fingers. So this has a little bit of a shine now in the middle. And I guess I won't do very much. I will just staple this down. I'm going to to grunge up the edges a little bit here. And I want to add some white splatters. This is my thinned down gesso. So I dried it, and I think the prompt is fulfilled. I embossed it. Here you can see the shine in the middle of the blossoms with transparent embossing powder. I embossed the background, and I think the staples add a lovely grungy element. I love this so much. And the splatters, the fabric scraps. I'm really, really happy with this one. So, embossed is done, and the next prompt is Tuckspot. And Tuckspot is, I think, one of my favorite prompts from this list, because I love journals where you can tuck in a lot of extra ephemera, a lot of tags or other tiny bits and pieces. So I love tuck spots, I love pockets, and yeah, that's one of my favorites, I guess. And I already have, I don't know, some of these pages where I already have kind of a tuck spot or a pocket, or I could make it a pocket. But I want to Oh, this is not dry enough yet, so I will just go over again. Okay, I think now we're ready to go. So you have to be careful if you use your heat tool on vellum paper. You always have to move the heat tool so that you don't, so that the vellum doesn't shrink or you don't burn your vellum. I mean, you have to be careful also on paper, but on this material even more. So I want to make a Tuckspot out of one of these fun laminated sheets. They are so much fun. I love making these. I just go to my laminator and grab these sheets, and then I add glitter, or here's some confetti inside, or you can add other things like dried leaves, dried petals, paper scraps, fabric scraps. I laminated bunched up threads like these. And I always have some of these laminated sheets in my stash. So I will use one of these now. And the confetti one was my first go-to. So I'm going definitely with this one. And before I can cut it down to size, I have to decide where I want to add it. Oh, I think this page would be great because this is really empty. Yes. Yes, I'm just going with this paper here. So I want my Tuckspot to be open here on the side and on the top. I mean, if I would close it here on the left side, I think this would not be a Tuckspot anymore. This would be a pocket, wouldn't it? I mean, you could discuss a whole lot of time about the difference between a Tuckspot and a pocket, but I guess this is maybe the difference. So I will cut this down to size. Yes, that's perfect. So I will round the edges a little bit. Yes, perfect. And now I will go around with my sewing machine. So I sewed around with a messy stitch twice. And now we can glue it down. But I think I want to add a little bit of an interest here. And I have, for example, this piece of ribbon and this piece of fabric. So let's add some kind of a, what's it called, tab here. Do we like it? Maybe another one. How about this? I have this piece of, I don't know, cotton, I guess, that I dyed with acrylic ink. I could also just staple it down like so. Actually, I love this. No, that's not what I will go for. Yes, this is better. So I will staple this down. Yes, I love it. So I will glue this down here on the bottom and on the right side with my art glitter glue. So this is nearly dry now. I really love it. This makes me smile when I look at it. The confetti is so much fun. And I have this tag that I made in advance and tucked it in here, ready to go and ready to use. And I think this is perfect here in this tuck spot. So I think this is a tuck spot. I mean, maybe there are people out there who say this is not a tuck spot, this is a pocket. Then please leave me a comment down below if you think this is, if you think I fulfilled the prompt tuck spot, or if you think I didn't fulfill it because this is a pocket. I would really be interested, but in my opinion, I think the pocket would be closed here as well. And since it is not, I think this is a tuck spot. But as I said, please leave me a comment about this topic down below. And I think I also fulfilled my motto, keep it simple. So tuck spot, or maybe pocket, is done as well. So the next prompt is antique. Antique. Is antique the same as vintage? That's the next question. Is antique the same as vintage? Well, let me think about it a while. So, I thought about it for a while and I came to the conclusion that I have to take something that I store here in this tin, and these are antique nails and rusty bits and pieces that I usually use for rust dyeing and for making my rust water that I then use for rust dyeing. But I also use these bits and pieces for eco dyeing to add into the solution. So I have these, I don't know, metal things that have rust on them. And these nails are really, really antique. I know this. And I would not say these are vintage. I think the right word would be they are antique. So I want to use one of these nails. I think I use this one. Or maybe a little bit, maybe this one. Yes, this is a little bit bigger. So I'm taking, or do I want to use more? I can hurt myself if I take this one. Can you see this? Okay, let's take these 3 ones. And if you want to use these rusty bits now in your journals, you have to keep in mind that the rust comes off the nails. So my hands are already a little bit, have this rust dirt on them. And you would also have the rust in your journal if you just put these in your journal. So what you can do is you can take your matte gel medium and put a layer of this on your nails. And that's exactly what I will do now. I mean, the matte gel medium is a glue. And you can basically try maybe other glues as well. But I like it because, well, I like the matte gel medium because it dries matte and not shiny. And by adding this layer, you kind of seal your nails so that the rust can't come off anymore and that your fingers stay clean and your journal. So I'm going to do this for all 3 of them, and I'm going to dry them afterwards, and then I will be right back. And so I added the matte gel medium, and now my hands stay clean when I touch them, and your journals stay clean when you add them. And I decided probably to use only one. I can use these in other projects, of course. And I want to make a cluster to embellish the edge of a page in my journal. Oh, you know what? I can decide later where I add the cluster. I can make the cluster at first. So I want to gather some fabric scraps that I have here on my desk ready to go. It's always great to have 1 or 2 or 3 baskets of scraps on hand. So 1 rusty nail, and I love this mustard yellow here. I want my nail to be the focal point in the end. I love working with jeans. I think it gives such a great texture, and you always have these fun frayed edges. Yes, let's do it somehow like so. And I want to add some thread as well, or I want to sew the nail onto these fabric scraps with a thread. Ooh, this would be great. I have this mustard yellow as well, but I think we need another color. How about this pink white? Oh, this would be awesome. I have this as a thicker thread. Well, let's be bold and go with this pink and white one. So what I will do at first is I will add a little bit of glue to keep everything in place, at least a little bit in place. I will start from the front because in the end I want to tie a knot, and I want the knot to be a decorative element as well. And I'm just doing some, hopefully messy, stitching to attach the nail to the fabric. Like so. Yes, I like it. At first I thought I would stitch around the nail on the top as well, but actually I like it like this because I think this is really balanced. And the eye wants to go here, so we have a focal point here on this position. Maybe some thread. No, no. I will just leave it as it is. I like it. So here's my journal. Oh, this would be beautiful. Oh, I like it here. And this is, by the way, I didn't even think about this, an original ledger paper. So this goes as well as antique, I guess. So I think this is the perfect place for this beautiful cluster. So here we go. I love it. I really, really love it. So antique is done as well. The last prompt for today's video is hidden. And when I read this prompt, I immediately knew what I wanted to do. So let me show you what I did for one of the prompts for Junk Journal January 2023. I made this fun ephemera, and obviously I had another style 2 years ago, but I still absolutely adore this piece that I made here. So you can see this man obviously, and if you pull this, you have this picture. And I absolutely love this so much, because you would not expect that you get this image when you look at this. And today I want to show you the basics to do a thing like this. This is actually kind of a hidden journaling spot. I made a video for the Winter Journal Challenge a few weeks ago. I will link it down in the description box, where I made another hidden journaling spot in a totally different style. So you can check out the video as well. The first thing is you want to have 2 paper dolls that have approximately a similar size and similar proportions, because we want to cut off, or we have to cut off, one head, and then one head has to fit to both bodies. And of course, I think it is a lot of fun if you have a lot of differences between the 2 paper dolls, or between the 2 bodies. You could use an animal body as well. I mean, you just have to make sure that the proportions are similar. So I want these ones, and I want the man to be in front of the hidden journaling spot, and only use therefore her body. So I will cut her head off. I almost did a mistake, because at first I want to cut off the head from the paper doll from the front. I will show you in a second why this is important. So make sure you cut off really precisely. And now we take this head as a template and see where we have to cut here. And if I cut correctly, this will go in there. Yes. So she can go in my stash. I will use her for another project. So I will now glue her body down onto a piece of a mixed media paper. And now I will fussy cut her and cut out these spaces as well. So of course I made a mistake. I wanted to leave a little bit of a piece of paper where her head was. So I will glue her down again. Oh, by the way, I inked the edges a little bit after gluing her down on paper. This was totally nonsense. So I will just cut off a little piece again. Glue this down like so. And then fussy cut it one more time. I can't believe it. I made the same mistake again. Okay. Oh gosh. So, cut it not completely again, Susanne. So, I will just cut like so. Then I want to leave this piece here. And again, cut like so. So, you don't have to glue this down if you remember this when you glue the whole paper doll down. So, this is what I wanted to have. Here's our head. So I can still hear the white paper. I will trim it a little bit. Okay. I think that's better. Yes. So we want to have it like so. But now we want to glue the head down with a little bit of distance here. So I'm cutting off a strip of this paper again and glue this down here. And I will do this one more time. So when I glue down the head now, it has a little bit of dimension. Can you see that? And that's exactly what I want to have. Okay, so it looks like so now. And I don't know, can you see that? It has a little, yes, so. It has a little bit of a dimension here. This is to achieve the effect that the head stops when the thing goes in here. So we want this one then to go like so. So now we have to glue him down somewhere in the journal, maybe here. And we have to create some kind of a pocket where this paper doll can then go in behind his upper body. And I have this piece of watercolor paper with some watercolor swatches. I think this is fun. I will at first glue this down. Then I want to cut off here to get exactly the shape from the neck. Yes, can you see this effect already? I love it. So, where do I want to glue it? I think this is nice, isn't it? Yes, let's take the first page that I chose. So I glue this down now, and I will only apply glue here and here. And you have to make sure that this goes in here, that there is no glue in the way. And it's always nice if the paper that you glue it onto is a little bit longer, so it is easier to tuck this in. I love this effect so much. You would not expect these clothes when you look at the paper doll at first glance, and I love this. I love when your expectations are not true. And when you're surprised by things, and yeah, I love this so much. This is so much fun. I hope you're inspired. So, the last prompt for today is finished. Hidden. When I look at it, I think now I could have sewn around it or something like this, or something is still missing, I guess. Maybe a quote here. Yes, let's add a quote. So I added some fabric scraps and the quote, "Be your beautiful self." I think this fits so well to this prompt. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching again, or thank you for watching for the first time if you're new on my channel. I hope you feel inspired by all the amazing videos for the Junk Journal January series, and I would be really happy if I would see you again in my next video. Have a lovely day. Bye.